Wow. Nothing like cut.
Hey, Kitty.
Bonnie, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm fine.
Good. As well as can be expected, right?
Yeah, I've got like 900 things going on. You know, it's like, it's either really calm or it's everything at once.
I know exactly what you're saying. I left the office at 10 after 4 today.
Oh, well, I haven't even done that, so. No.
Well, I left my other office to come to this office.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's all good. I'm glad to be busy, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Very thankful.
I just have, you know, I don't mind being busy, but I don't like when communities say, oh, we need this and we're doing it on, you know, in 3 days. Can you do this? And I'm like, yes, but the little notice would have been good, because if I'm doing trainings or doing something, I always do it specific to that community.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, I don't know if they just think if you're working from home that you're not doing anything. I'm like, I've been busier working from home than I was ever working at the office.
I know, right?
I'm like, yeah, sure, okay. Yeah, when they think I'm traveling, they don't bother me, because, you know, they're like, oh, she's in somebody else's community, so I won't call her. And now they just think she's in the dining room. I can just talk to her every day. It's like, no.
It is a new world to get used to, for sure.
Yep.
But it's all good.
It's been
I'm
pretty fun.
We've been busy. I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Tim.
Oh, I just got an email from Natalie. Did y'all get it?
Thank you, sir.
What did she say, Kitty?
She wanted to know if there was a meeting today. I guess Andrew didn't. Here, let's see if I can forward it to her.
I got you. I got it.
You got her? Okay.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hey, Eddie.
Oh, hi. How are you all?
Good. How about you?
I'm just doing great. Just doing great. Plugging right along.
That's how all of us is doing. Keeping it going.
Who else on the line? Are we waiting for some people?
So far, Kitty, Nick. Did you say
Okay.
Tim's on, Nick?
We're all here except Todd and Natalia.
I was congratulating Tim on his promotion. He's
Yeah,
here.
congratulations.
Oh, good job, Tim.
Thank you.
Deserve
Thank you
it.
all. I'm here.
Well, if it's
You want to go ahead? You want to go ahead and get started, Connie?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and
Right.
call the meeting to
Okay.
order. It's 4:32. And the first thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. If you've read over them, if I can get a motion.
Make a motion.
Eddie makes a motion. Can I get a second?
Well, time out.
Yeah.
Natalia does not have the link. She's trying to get in the meeting.
I just emailed it to her, the link and the meeting ID and password.
Okay, thank you.
Am I on mute?
Motion.
No, Brennan, you're not on mute.
Okay. There he goes.
Who made the motion to accept the minutes?
Well, we have a first, which was Eddie, a second I'm waiting on.
I'll
Who's
second.
that? Who's that?
Me,
Tim?
Tim.
Does anybody have any questions about the meeting, the minutes? If not, if I can get, all in favor, say aye. Aye. If there's
Aye.
any opposed, you can unmute yourself. The second thing on the agenda, do we have any guests today? No?
Sorry, I had to mute myself and unmute. One gentleman has been calling a lot, and he lives on Old Oxford Road.
Uh-huh.
Brandon, what's that gentleman's name?
Jim?
Yeah, I believe
Jay Griffin.
Jay or
Jay
Jim?
Griffin.
Jay?
Yeah,
Did
and
we
he
set-
just has. I got it. He has general concerns about speed, and especially going around that curve. He lives right in the curve, and wants something done about it. And I told him, well, we're trying to get a grant to rebuild the whole road. Just haven't been successful in getting the grant.
Well,
And we
the
kind of left
sad
it at
part-
that. Go
the
ahead.
sad part about all of that, Eddie, is that we've got speeding going on all over the city, according to this agenda.
That one is actually number 14 on old business.
Yeah. Well, we'll address it here in a minute, okay, Eddie? Let's go on to new business. If
That's
we don't
good,
have any more
thanks.
guests- Do we have any more guests besides Mr. Griffin? I'm gonna take that as a no. We'll move on to new business. Number 3, 200 North Hamilton, ADA parking spaces. Who took that call? Brennan?
Eddie.
Eddie?
That's not something that they didn't contact me about that, Brandon.
Oh, well, it was on the agenda. I thought you put it on there. So do we need to take that off or did somebody else spring that?
200 North Hamilton ADA parking spaces. Can you pull it up on Google Map, Nick, real quick and tell me where that is? Is that between the Justice Center?
That's what I would think.
Or is it past the four-way stop?
I'm pulling it up.
Thanks, hon.
It's right there at Washington and North Hamilton. It looks like if you take a right towards Jefferson on North Hamilton, it's the first building.
I mean, they probably requested it, but we haven't been doing ADA spaces on the road except in a few places in front of some churches.
yeah.
And it was a no. Basically it's a no, but I did say that we would at least go to committee and look at it.
Well,
I think
we have,
that ADA ordinance, don't we?
do what?
We have that ADA ordinance that they can come and apply. I think with Tracy or somebody and get it. I know Devin and them passed that like a year and a half ago.
That is true. The only thing about the ADA or anything right there on North Hamilton, there is no driveway parking. It's all on-street parking.
Mhm.
So that may be the issue. So Brennan's right about that, Eddie. So I'll make a motion that we take it off the agenda, and if they call back again about ADA, that they contact Tracy about filling out an app. You think, Eddie?
I don't know that. I don't know. I mean, I just don't. We haven't been putting these ADA. I don't think that's even an ADA space, Brandon. I think that's for something. You must have taken that call.
Mm-mm.
Well, I'm going to make a motion that we remove it off the agenda.
Okay.
Does anybody want to second that?
There's a handicap spot there now.
There's
I'm
one.
just looking at it. There's one with what looks like proper signage right in front of 200. That's
Yeah.
that greenhouse.
I know the one you're talking about.
I wonder if it was maybe to have it restriped or something.
You know what? Why don't you go check it out before we do anything? I think Eddie's right. We're not doing any special ADA parking signs. But if there's one there and it's not striped correctly, Eddie, why don't you check that out before we do anything with it?
Okay.
You want-
I will.
All right. Let's
So
do
you're
that.
removing your motion.
I'm going to remove my motion, and Eddie's going to go check it out, Kitty, and bring it back to the next one, okay? Okay, number 4, Royal Spring Welcome Center parking. Lori Saunders, who took that call? Who knows anything about that? I don't. Lori didn't.
Okay.
contact-
That one's I had put on there on the agenda. So Lori, they have started a new program at that Welcome Center down there in Royal Springs. It
Mhm.
used to be the old jail. It's some kind of historical center or something like that. And she's asking if she can get parking spaces in front of that building.
Hang on 1 minute, Eddie. Natalia just got on. And
Yeah.
Natalia, we're under new business and we're on number 4. And Eddie's giving us an update on that. He took put it on the agenda, okay? Okay, go ahead, Eddie. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, so she was wondering if she could get parking from 9 to 4 for the historical building and all that. It's owned by the county government, the building is, and they do some sort of programming for tourism out of it. And there's a lot of overflow parking on the street from another business, which is right next door.
The
And
building,
it's some kind of a rehabilitation kind of place for children.
the business directly across the street is closing. And that's where we've used parking for that structure for events for after hours. And there are 2 spots in front of the building that are not officially marked, but that's where everything was parked for probably 20 years. And then there may be parking, the building that's right next door that used to be part of the vitamin company or whatever that was. Do you remember that, Connie? New Image or something? Yeah. I think there are a couple of spots there that are actually designated to the county, perhaps. Because it has been the art center for a long time.
Eddie, do you want to check that out before we do any, know exactly
Yeah,
what you're talking about?
that's not a problem. We can do that.
Let's just see exactly what she's talking about before we can give her a yay or nay.
Well,
It's not anything that we need
yeah.
to do hurriedly.
She's just trying to get spaces directly in front of her building during like daylight working hours, 9 to 4, something like that.
There's always
sign.
been parking there during the day, typically, but none of those are marked. And they've
Eddie,
never been
can
marked.
we meet one day
Well,
this week and go look
Sure.
at that? Will you
Absolutely.
text me and let me know?
And
Yeah.
aren't they only going to be open on maybe Thursday and Friday and Saturday. They have very limited hours.
We'll find that out for
Yeah,
sure.
they do. They're starting out only 2 days a week.
Okay.
For a
And-
very short period
and-
of time.
Yeah, for a short window, and she wants to sign up that, but yeah, I told her, I said, normally we would say no, but being a government building, I think we have a little bit more, say in that. It's owned by the county government, and it's for a public purpose and all that. Kind of like the museum on
Yeah.
Main Street is kind of what I compared it to. They have something similar to that in front of their building. And she was just
Museum has
asking for a couple.
public parking except for the handicap spot.
Okay.
They don't
well,
have designated parking for the museum.
They have some kind of a bus zone or something.
That's in front of
anyways.
the Presbyterian Church.
Okay, well, that's fine. But they, I told her, I would take it to the committee and we would discuss it.
Okay, well, let's bring some
Okay.
more information back to the committee. Let's you and I go investigate that, Eddie, okay?
Okay, we can do that.
Will you send me a text when you can do it, please?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna move on to number 5. Anybody got any more new business they like to bring toward, to a traffic meeting? Okay, let's go on to old business number 6, Military Street, Main Street. This is new business, actually. Or no,
We covered
we
it
talked
last
about
time.
it. I read it in the minutes, you're right. So Eddie, did you check that out? What's your recommendation on that?
I don't really recommend doing that right now. I don't see that there's that much traffic coming out of there, and it doesn't, it's not that much of a safety concern that I see, but others may disagree.
No, actually, I don't disagree with you because it's been like that for years, and
Yeah.
people have handled it. So, do you want to vote on it? Make a motion not to make a change?
I think it'd be appropriate. Yeah.
Okay, you want to make that motion?
Yes, I make a motion that we just leave it as it is.
Do I have-
Military and Main Street.
Okay, Do I
by
have
the
a
St.
second?
John's.
huh?
Second.
Nick has seconded that, Kitty.
I got it.
Anybody have any questions or any concerns? If not, if all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Let's move on to speeding on Main Street. We can group that up.
Do what?
I said speeding on Main Street, we can group that up because there's been speeding on South Hamilton. I was reading over all of this and I mean, right now they've got the speed thing on Washington Street. They're going to be moving it to Main Street pretty soon, right, Nick?
Yeah, Main Street, that section towards the military is the next spot for us to move one of the trailers to.
This has been ongoing for a long time.
Yeah, and I think it's something we're probably just going to keep on the agenda for a little bit because as reading over the minutes, I realized and recognized that a lot of this is being detoured. Natalia had made a really good point about that because of all the construction that's going on everywhere. I mean, on West Main, out at the bypass, there's quite a bit going on. So people are detouring and they're hurrying. And the police department can't be everywhere. So we're going to have to just go through it, wait until all of this is done and school's back in. So really, if you think about it, number 7, number 10.
It's not a new issue. This has been going on for a long time.
Speeding,
Oh, we got trucks going 60, 65 miles an hour. They get past right there by Chambers and then they just kind of floor it.
I know. They do it on Washington Street too. I see it all the time.
Mhm.
Well, we're just we'll come back. We'll leave it on there. We won't do anything with it. I think we need to get through our growing pains right here. Don't you agree, Eddie?
I do. Yeah. They're stretched thin and they probably can't do traffic patrol like they'd like to, they have to have more manpower.
Okay. So let's move on to number 8. 4-way stop at Gannett and Chestnut. Now, I don't know if you've checked that out or not, Eddie, but there's never been a stop sign there. Again, that's attributed to speeding. The other day, I was showing property in Harbor Village. There was a stop sign every 300 feet.
I know.
I'm not willing to do that.
I'm not a fan, no. You just put up those stop signs everywhere, and just like you're saying, you waste more energy stopping and going like that than you do if you just kept on going.
I just don't think the four-way stop's appropriate. Nick, do you have any input on that?
I mean, look at all of the stuff we dealt with in Bradford. It just increases driver frustration. It's going to increase the number of calls that we get for people running the stop sign. And I think right now, if you were to put a stop sign somewhere where there's never been a stop sign, you're going to.
I think so too. They did that at the Seminole and Shoshone years ago. I told you all before I locked my brakes up. I was like, what? So we're going to say no to a four-way stop because it doesn't decrease speeding. It's frustrating for the drivers. So we're going to say no. So do we need to make a motion, no four-way stop? And a motion to take it off the agenda?
The only other thing I can think of, I mean, if we wanted to do a traffic count, I can almost guarantee the numbers aren't going to support it. If you feel like it would be more prudent for us to actually do something and have the numbers to back it up.
Doing the traffic count?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to support it, but I guess it would.
Well, Natalia
to-
made a good point about, doing the traffic counts. It's one of the reasons why we're not doing one now on Seminole and those to take those stop signs out, simply because we're really not getting the true numbers, Nick, because there's no school buses. Parents aren't driving their kids to school. So it's not real. Would you all not agree to that?
No, I agree. Especially there at Military in Maine, even when you were talking about that, there's no way we can get an accurate count of that with everybody at home right now.
No. So
There's a
I
lot of
feel like almost that, this is a moot point for us to even consider doing anything, doing a traffic count, maybe even moving it off the agenda. If you all don't want to, we can wait until we can legitimately do a traffic count. Thoughts?
I think if nothing else, we just table it and we push it back a little bit. I don't think there will be enough, like Nick said, there's not going to be the need for this, but just for our, just reassuring the person that's requested it, it might be best to have numbers.
Okay.
Did they tell you why that stop sign was needed? Did they give any justification?
I think speeding, Ben.
Okay, if that's the only reason, I don't think it should be on there.
Okay.
I would agree. If that's the only reason they're bringing it up, I think we can go ahead and scratch it. Just because I know we've talked enough times in the past about the MUTCD or whatever that
MUTCD,
manual
yeah.
is, how it's not a recommended speed.
That's the only reason why I know.
Mhm.
That's the only reason I would make a motion to remove it.
Yeah, if that's the only reason, I agree.
So I got a motion from Nick and a second from Tim to remove Gano and Chestnut four-way stop. All in
Good.
favor? Does anybody have questions, or is there anyone that's opposed? Speak now, forever hold your peace. We're moving on.
Whoever put that on there, you can let them know. I will add Gano to our ever-growing list of traffic trailers as we continue moving them around. We can at least.
I will do that. I will do that. Okay. Natalia, I was the one that brought the traffic signal to Main Street and Paynes Depot. That really just came up the last meeting, and I know you even had a chance to look at that? And I'm not sure the traffic count would matter right now either, right?
Right, exactly. We're not really doing any types of evaluations right now unless it's something that's, a major safety concern. And there's a, 5-year history of different issues that would be potentially fixable by a signal. but even then, we'd still have to find a way to get accurate count data too. So we're not really doing, we're
Do
kind of.
you want to table it or do you want to remove it?
I think there's a lot
We can
less
just table, I think a lot of these things that need studies, that may actually warrant studies, we can table it for once things get back to normal sometime.
Well, I think
So,
the bypass is
alright.
opened up.
Okay,
Since that construction is over, there's been a lot less traffic in that area.
well, let's put on your minutes that right now, the traffic signal at Main and Paynes Depot, we're gonna table it for continued study until we get out of the pandemic and construction.
Yeah.
Okay?
Sounds good.
Was that what you would say, Natalia?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Okay.
Just a quick question.
Sure.
When has Scott County said they were going to start to go back to school? Has there even been a date set?
October after fall break, but that could change.
The
Right,
14th.
Kitty?
Yeah, I think it's October 12th right now.
October 12th.
14th,
Yeah.
that Wednesday.
Yeah, that Wednesday, Nick said. Okay, Nick, on number 10, do you have had any requests for putting the speed thing, or is it on your speed thing at 702 South Hamilton? I think that just came up or just last month. It's one of your speed things.
I can add it to the list. I haven't heard of.
Do you want to add it to the list? I don't think there's really anything else we can do about speeding, and just put them on the list to do that. Do you all disagree?
I don't disagree.
Okay, well, just add that to the list, okay, Nick? And we'll just, we won't remove it. You can just let us know when you do it, okay, Nick? Natalia, traffic signal at US 25 in Colony subdivision, number 11. That's another one that warrants study, right?
We can leave it on there. Hold on, let me see. They do have a left turn lane.
There is a left turn lane.
We can leave it on there. Was this the one where I mentioned that the issues collision wise might be more related to the approach in the
Rear ends.
Yeah.
So you said most of them were rear end from coming out of the colony, were rear end accidents.
Right, because your visibility is blocked. You've got like this stone wall thing there, and then you're coming down a hill and you've got a big tree, and so you can't see a car that's stopped at the stop sign. So I think there's a lot of rear ends, mostly on the side street approach. So that wouldn't necessarily safety wise, that doesn't necessarily mean you need a signal. The signal would not fix that.
That would mean that they need to pay attention to the brake lights.
Or they can, they like stone walls and fences and putting up obstructions and entryways that might look nice but block your sight distance when you're approaching an intersection. I don't know. And then they have that big tree that they could do some trimming on and stuff. Also some advanced signing maybe to warn them that you've got to stop ahead in an X amount of feet or something like that. Just some signing improvements, maybe right there at the intersection, dual stop signs maybe, so you can see where traffic might be stopping. But apart from that, we can keep it on the list and we can add it to the list to count, but I don't think this is an intersection that I would necessarily say, yes, this definitely needs signalization. I don't see, for a safety standpoint, I don't see it needing a signal. Even if it meets volume warrants, that doesn't necessarily mean that we would put a signal at this location.
Okay.
So,
Eddie, Ben, do you all think it needs to have like additional signage or something? Maybe look at that, like what she said, maybe an additional stop sign or slow down or, stop ahead or something like that?
I not been out there recently, but looking at Google Maps Street View, I can definitely see what she's talking about. I know those walls have been hit multiple times and repaired in the past. It looks like on the exit, it looks like if that wall on the right was pulled back, it sits right on the curb. So it's both of them are in right of way. And on Google Maps, there's a bunch of tree branches that are blocking the view as well. So I don't know what it looks like today, but it definitely looks bad in Google Street View.
Do you think that maybe we can look at, I don't know about moving a rock wall or a brick wall, but do you think that maybe we could go out and assess it and look at it and see about trimming the trees? I mean, would that be something that we would be responsible for?
We have to look at some of the plats, I think. Eddie's not on here, but we've gotten calls on this before. I think a lot of it is that there's area for when you're pulling out of the subdivision. There's area for 2 cars to stack up. Not necessarily the lanes are marked, but everybody uses, if they're turning left, they'll pull to the left side. If they're going right, they go to the right side, and they're not striped. So there might be a lot of like clipping of vehicles instead of rear ends. It might be more clipping instead of that.
What do you think? Maybe we ought to go out there and look at restriping it where they know to turn left or turn right? Would that help?
It possibly could, but it still might do if they clip or rear end. Ben, I don't know about for you, but was it even designed to even have 2 lanes, or is it even that median? Going into 25 is pushed back so they can squeeze out. But I don't know if you can measure it out wise. You probably could, but I don't know.
I don't think, it doesn't look to me like there's enough. It does not look at all like it's meant to be 2 lanes coming. You just got a weird.
It only aprons out at the end, Natalia.
Right, because it's only 15 feet. So I don't think.
I think stripe it.
That would be tricky. You could like stripe out. You can kind of see where the tire paths are and stuff, and you could do you could stripe out or thermo out, like extending the nose of that median with thermo and put on a stop bar or something where people might. Well, I don't know about stop bar because I know people probably pull up a lot farther than the stop sign before they actually make their turn. But you could extend the nose out a little bit just to kind of give better definition. From what I read in the reports, it seemed like the majority of the issues were rear ends, but I think it was, I'd have to go back and check, but I do recall seeing several that mentioned wet conditions and coming down that hill, slick conditions. So I think because you have a downhill condition and they probably, are driving it a bit faster than they should for the conditions. And then you have that tree and that stone wall. And then, you have that shortens the amount of time that you have when you actually pass that wall and can see a vehicle stop there and then react and then press your brakes and try to stop. I think that also has something to do with it. So maybe looking at how many are due to wet conditions, and I don't know if there's the pavements, what condition the pavement's in. I don't know if it really needs, if it's polished or something that's causing some slick conditions, or even, maybe first start with just having stop ahead signs before the stone wall that tells you, okay, in 200 feet or however many 100 feet it is to the stop sign. Okay, it's less than maybe 100 feet then. You've got a stop condition or something, or put it back a little bit further and say, okay, in 200 feet, you've got a stop sign. Sometimes we do that way, especially when there's a situation where you can't see the stop sign and where it's at. We'll put like a distance plaque that way, like over a vertical crest of a hill or something. That way a car coming knows that from that stop ahead sign, they've got 200 feet before they got to stop. So they should start preparing. I
think additional signage as you're coming in would be good. Because because it goes downhill, but it also turns a little bit. And I know that rock wall has been hit. I can't tell you how many times. As far as the tree, if there's an issue with the line of sight with the tree, then I'll take care of that. Is it where it's hanging down to? I haven't been coming out that exit in a while. Is it that it's hanging too low, or what exactly is it with the tree?
Well,
It's-
just looking from Google Street View, it looks like the limbs are hanging over the rock wall, and they're actually, it's in front of the rock wall, closer to the main line there, and you've got a light post there that's actually encased in the tree limbs. I think when you're approaching that, cutting back some of those limbs might help cars sitting there at the stop sign a little bit sooner, even with the rock wall, because the rock wall, you've got that tall column, but then the wall itself is a bit shorter. So I think you'd be able to spot a car a little bit better if those limbs weren't blocking it.
Okay, I'll send code enforcement over there tomorrow and just clean it up a little bit.
And in the meantime, Tim, when you do that, let's also, Brennan or Eddie, go over there and see about putting a stop, like another stop sign, like stop soon, or what did you call it, Natalia?
Well, stop aheads, but
Stop.
I mean, stop aheads, but even as you're driving it, well, you'll have to drive it, I think, to see what you really need, especially once you cut back those tree limbs. Because a supplementary stop sign might be pretty visible once you cut back those tree limbs some.
Okay.
If you put one there in the median on the left-hand side, you won't be able to see the primary one on the right, but because of the curvature of the road, I think you'll be able to see the one on the left. So you could start with that, or you could look at stop aheads as well. Like I said, most of the accidents were rear ends. Most of those tend to be relatively minor, fender bender type things. There wasn't an astronomical amount, but there was quite a few of the accidents were rear ends there. I didn't see too many angled collisions, so I don't think that there's a few, but not a good amount. So I don't think safety-wise there'd be a
Okay.
push for a signal.
Well, let's do this. Tim, you go ahead and get code enforcement out there tomorrow, and then we'll just hold off and we'll reevaluate it and look at Google Maps again when we get back together next month, okay?
Yes,
And see if
ma'am.
anybody, and we'll just leave that on there and get an update from you, Tim, okay?
Okay, I'll take a picture and I'll send it out to everybody in an email.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have any questions or any other concerns about that one? Okay, if not, let's move on to the no parking sign council recommendations. We're holding off on that right now, correct, Brennan?
I am guessing. I thought Eddie was supposed to talk. Y'all were supposed to talk.
Errol, I'm trying to get him back on Zoom. He's knocked off. So, I'm emailing, hang on a second, it's Eddie calling me. Yes. Yes. Okay, I have Eddie on speakerphone, so
Sorry, guys, I'm having technical difficulties. I lost my Zoom connection.
that's okay. We just got through talking about the traffic signal at US 25 and Colony subdivision, and what we've decided to do is there's tree branches hanging, and Tim is going to get code enforcement out there to get that
Yeah.
taken care of. And then we're going to talk
Yeah.
about it again next meeting, and he's going to send us pictures, and we're going to see if we need stop ahead signs before the stop sign or whatever else we might need to do. But that's what we're going to do right now.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a good plan. They
Okay.
asked for a light, I believe, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, but Natalia doesn't
long
think,
shot.
yeah, she doesn't seem to think that will happen. But right now, we'll try to address it with they looked at Google Maps, okay?
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Okay, so the next one is no parking sign, council recommendations, number 12. Brendan said you were gonna talk on that.
I'm sorry, which number are you on?
Number 12, hang on a minute. Can everybody hear Eddie?
Yes.
Okay, they can hear you, Eddie.
I haven't talked to, what's no parking sign?
No parking sign, council recommendations, and a question mark.
It's
I
the
think,
Hickman and all that. It's the Hickman, the cul-de-sac, no parking. I think there was one more. I can't think of off the top of my head.
Okay, in the
There's all
future,
the streets we
make
were
sure you
taking.
write down the street name on there on these notes. It's on which one, Hickman?
Hickman,
Yeah, there was like 4 areas that we were going to take to council.
Hickman, Jamestown Court, I know was one of them.
Yes. The Stables 2 entrance, I believe, maybe.
Kitty, do you, I don't know if that was on my, let me look at my last emails.
It would be on your minutes.
Items moved to number 8, the Stables 2 subdivision off Champion Way. You were supposed to bring it up at staff meeting.
Yeah, well, I mean, the last time we talked about this, we kind of decided that, you know, okay, when we've been going, the way we've been operating is if it's on a plat and it shows no parking this side of the street or something like that, and it's on a plat, then we go ahead and just put them up. Okay? If we don't, then, you know, we can do one of two things. We can get the new ordinance passed, and then we can grandfather them in. So in other words, planning and zoning has clearly defined how wide the street is, whether they're going to allow parking on one side or both sides. And it depends on the street width. And you can go out and tape measure an existing street where it's not shown on the plat and put up no parking signs.
So the reason
So
why
we
this
gotta-
hasn't, so the reason why this has not been addressed is
Yeah.
because if it's not on the plats that already says that we can do it, we're waiting to get our ordinance finished to address these parking issues, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we can do it, I guess, if the traffic committee decides they want to do it. I have no problem going out and putting the signs up, but we're putting them in areas that we don't have any sort of legal, you know, standing. Like we don't have an ordinance that, or our existing ordinance doesn't allow for us to do that.
Right.
But
So,
if we, you know, when we get a new ordinance, it will. And the only ones we've been doing that are like ones where it's shown up on a plat somewhere because it went through planning and zoning, it was approved that way.
right.
And so we can go out and say, hey, well, it's on the plat. We just, you know, put them up, you know.
Eddie, let's talk to, hang on, Andrew's gonna send you another link, okay? But in the
Oh,
meantime, we'll stay where we're at until he sends
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
sorry about my technical
Don't,
hiccups.
don't worry about it. I think Eddie,
It's aggravating.
I know, but we have to do what we gotta do. So how about this? How about, Eddie, you and I talk to Devin and
Yeah.
see if we can take some of these parking issues to council and ask for a recommendation since we've not got our ordinance totally finished and see if they will agree
I
to,
did. I've already spoken to Devin about that.
And what'd she
was
say?
not she was not comfortable doing it until we got a new ordinance in place.
okay.
Because
Well,
she didn't have anything to cite legally to say, hey, we're just following the existing ordinance under this, you know, section of the ordinance. But she
okay,
doesn't have that right now. And yeah, we've already discussed that, you know.
okay,
So I
so,
guess we're leaving it on here, but we need to write the names of the streets on, you know, on, if we're just gonna leave these on here.
Kitty, let's do it this way, Eddie. Kitty,
Yeah.
in our minutes, let's put on there the no parking, that unless it's at planning and zoning and it's on the plat, that we can
Yeah.
put up no parking on one side or the other. that we're not going to address those until our ordinance is finished, okay?
Right.
And then Brennan, if anybody calls in and says anything to you, then you can say, this is where we stand right now, okay? Because Devin doesn't want us to do it, then we're going to go by legal advice, right,
No,
Eddie?
she- comfortable.
Okay.
So do we just take this off now,
Have
or?
anything in a law that you can point to
Right.
that,
She-
says to do it, so.
Brennan, she doesn't have anything to cite to say that we could do anything. So what was your question?
So do we want to go, since we can't do anything about it, do we want to go ahead and remove it? Because it's the council's recommendation. It would be legal recommendation. And since we can't do it right now, just go ahead and remove it until we do get
Yes.
it passed.
We are going to remove anything
Yeah,
with parking
and
issues.
Put down that we're gonna review that, we're gonna open this back up when we get the new ordinance passed.
Okay.
And make sure you list all the streets on there that it affects.
Make
When
sure
we
you
go
list
back
the
and look- when
streets,
we go back
Brennan.
and look at the minutes, we'll have a record of it.
Ask the question real quick.
Tim's got a question, Eddie.
Just
Okay.
the only thing that I would ask when you speak with Devin, or if you all speak with Devin again, I know that there's some instances that this is just more of a formality, and we're trying to make sure that we're kind of following protocol when we put up the no parking signs. But some of the concerns I have are when we're dealing with the safety issues. You know, Jamestown Court was an issue where we had people stacking up near at the coming in. So it's difficult for fire trucks coming in, or for Hickman or some of these other ones. It's more of it's not a nuisance. It's more of a potential life safety issue, quite honestly.
Being able to get through.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
It does, even on the cul-de-sacs.
I get it.
In the street widths at planning, it's all based on getting a fire truck through. I mean, it's setting aside that minimum 20 foot to allow for passage, but is there a smaller number, Tim, or is there anything in fire code or anything else that would help out?
I'd have to look into that. I mean, the biggest thing for me specifically is I guess we spoke with the gentleman on Hickman. So it's just a normal street, but he's kind of backed off where we turn onto that street. So that's helping us out there. Jamestown Court specifically it's not your typical cul-de-sac. It's not wide open cul-de-sac. It's basically just a circle street. It's got the big island in the middle of it. So when you do have cars that are parking near the front, you can make it to where it's dang near impossible to even get down in there. It's just a challenge. That if I was to prioritize them, that would be the one that I would like to try to do something with. We had a fire there last winter, and the gentleman was asking about it, and I would hate to see something happen again. And we've had several. I don't know what it is, but we've had probably 4 fires on that court. It's been bad luck, I guess, but I just want to make sure that we don't have any.
Natalia,
Yeah, my argument, Tim, was to Devin was that, look, we have things by reference in planning and zoning documents, to do this. Is that enough to go ahead and just put the signs up where we think we need them? And Chief was not sold on that. But if there's something in the fire code, some kind of written code with the fire, is there anything written like in a manual of some type that you've adopted, where you identify things like fire lanes and?
Yeah, we follow national, NFPA is the standard that we follow.
Yeah.
We actually have a standard that's what Ben was talking about, the standard that we follow through TRC and through everything else. So, this Jamestown Court's been there for,
Since 1980.
It's been there for a long time.
I've driven through there with you before, Tim.
Well before.
Exactly what you're saying.
Well, Eddie, let's do this. Let's take it back to Devin, and let's give her the safety hazards that we feel like that need to be addressed. And let's see what we can come up with. Okay, Tim?
Yes.
Yeah. What's the worst street, Tim? What's the worst offender?
Jamestown, any of the cul-de-sacs that park in that you can't get a fire truck in there.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like I said, this is different than your typical cul-de-sac. It's just, it's a different
Because it's me.
animal. If we could get Jamestown taken care of, I'd be happy to wait until we got
Okay.
the.
I will focus on that one first.
Todd's with us.
Natalia, is there anything in the MUTCD that covers that?
I'd have to look it up. I'm not super familiar with parking because we generally leave that up to the cities. But you're referring to what, just,
If there has anything to do with being able to maintain the width of the street or anything related to fire and police safety, if there's something in the MUTCD, then we can go by that.
I can look.
Okay. Natalia can look. Tim can look and see if there's anything. Ben's already given us his. We'll
And-
take what we get, Eddie, and take it to Devin and see if we can't do at least something with Jamestown.
And it may be something as simple as painting a 10-foot stripe or something right at the front of it to where you didn't maybe even have to put up a sign, but if people didn't park in that one little section, you can't park in the cul-de-sac. It's impossible because you couldn't drive through there. It's
Right.
it's where they're parking at the front. So maybe if we just do like a 10-foot stripe or something, if people don't park there, then that opens it up for us. And then we don't have to worry about a sign.
Okay. Let's look at it and we'll readdress it next month. Okay, we'll try to come up with a remedy. All right,
Okay.
Kitty? What?
Brendan, do you have a list of all those streets?
I do, and it's in the past minutes when we took it to council too.
Okay, well, I was just thinking for these minutes, we've got a way to get those.
Can you come up with some of those names for Kitty, please?
Yes.
Well, I always send these to Brendan so he can just add them at that one, if that's okay.
That'd be cool. That okay, Brendan?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so let's move on to redirect truck traffic. Is that Eddie or Natalia?
I think it was both, or it was where the semi trucks are coming through the center of town because of the construction, I believe, that's going on with the bypass and the roundabout. But I think the roundabout just had opened that same weekend we had the meeting that we brought it last month, I believe. Is that correct, Natalia?
Yes, I think so. And, or it was opening up that following week or something. Yeah, I think so. It's just been brought up to us through complaints through Kelly and Frankfurt and stuff that, there's truck traffic and requesting for us to, restrict trucks going through town, which we can't do. We would have to sign guide signs for trucks to direct them around the bypass. And I think last time we talked about, which would be quite expensive, a lot of signs and reconfiguring all the signs on the approaches. So if there's any, I think it was determined last time that there weren't really any areas that were hotspots or major concerns that were bringing a lot of truck traffic through downtown. But if those come up, you can just definitely let us know and then, or let me know and we'll take a look at those intersections. Basically it's state routes or things that are coming into the bypass where they're going straight instead of going around the bypass type of situations.
Then how does Frankfurt get away with it? Because they can't. They've kicked trucks on around down there. How has other towns got away with it?
Well, those signs, if you see one, let me know and we'll take it down because we're not supposed to have them up. Unless there's an official order for them. So there's a special official orders. There are certain routes, like we've got signs for a section of 418 in Lexington where we've got panel signs and stuff as well on the interstate restricting trucks from a certain section of 418 outside of the interstate. And there's a couple other areas where we have official orders that designate certain areas as no truck, no through trucks or no trucks at all type of scenarios. But it's very difficult to get that.
I can tell you with the water construction and the other things going on Main Street, that the truck traffic has been reduced dramatically because they get stopped and they have to stay. So I think it's all, living on Main Street and seeing it every day. I think a lot of it was due to the construction. And now that we have construction on Main Street, it has gone back down again.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good.
So
And-
I'm gonna do
but-
this. Go ahead.
Go ahead. That's okay.
I was
You're gonna
gonna
do
make a
what?
motion that we go ahead and move the redirect truck traffic off because of all of the construction that's going on. I think we just need to let it play out. Eddie just seconded. Kitty. I made a motion to take number 13 off and Eddie seconded it. Is there anybody got any more questions about that? If not, how many in favor say aye? If there's any opposed, speak now. Okay, we'll take that one off. Old Oxford speeding calls, I think we're right back about everything else, right, Eddie?
Yeah, it's really old business, and I don't think we need to really. I mean, we have to have it in the minutes, that we're receiving a bunch of them, but I don't know that there's no action been taken on that.
Nick, is it that one that's on your list?
Yes, and that's one that we've actually gone out and used our federal grant money to write tickets as well. So we've
Okay.
we've
Oh, good.
looked into that area.
So have you put the speed sign up yet, or should we take that off? Old Oxford is always going to come back and haunt us until we get the grant to fix it.
Put this one out there before. I can add it. We can add it back into the rotation.
Okay, he's going to add it back into the rotation, Kitty. And they did use federal grants to go out and write tickets, he said. Okay, let's move on. Eddie, the intersection at Hamilton, Washington, was that little,
Yeah, it's on Robert's list of. He's just got to get out there and put it in.
that's on Robert's list to do? He's just got to get out there and put
he's
it
got all
in?
the materials. He uses that stuff that you it's kind of like a plastic that you melt down. It's just a white bar across a stop bar, for the tire, for the people.
Kitty, for your minutes, it's on his list. He's got the materials and he's just got to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 16, Walmart, right in, right out. Is that completed, Eddie?
It's getting really close.
Okay, we
Yeah,
just have that on there to
it's moving right
monitor.
along.
Yeah,
We have
About
opened.
95% done.
95% done. We're just
About-
keeping it on until it's finished. So we'll just move on. Okay, guys? KYTC Main Street, Pierce Pike repaved. Natalia, we're still on hold for that right now?
I haven't heard any updates on that. I'll have to check with Austin.
Okay, no more updates on that for right now, Kitty. Stop signs on Seminole Drive and Hutchins and Copperfield, that's something we're just leaving on there. I realize we've not done the traffic count. They would be skewed, so we're gonna move on. Number 19, our traffic ordinance is still in progress. We'll work on that. We'll talk to Devin about that next week too, okay, Eddie?
Yeah.
And we'll give you all an update on that. And our next meeting will be on October the 19th at 4:30. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to bring forth? If not,
Yeah, I got,
Okay.
just-
Kitty does. Hold, please.
No,
Go
I
ahead.
just have a question.
Okay.
On the traffic ordinance, do we know when committee members will get that to review? Because that's what's on here.
Eddie, do we know when?
It's already, I've sent that out to just about everybody. All you have to do is you have to have a Google account, and we're all sharing the same file. And if you have something you want to add to it, there's a little space in there. You can put your comments in it.
I've
think
never
it's
seen it
necessary.
at all.
Maybe I didn't get it to you, Kitty, but it's circulating around, and anybody who can get on there, you got a computer, you can pull it on up, and you can read the actual document. You can read everybody's comments. You can see what's in there, and just everything's there.
Have you sent it to Kitty yet? Kitty, have you not received it?
No,
No.
I've not seen it at all.
Link, so she can click on it and get into it.
Brennan, he
I
said
think
send
Nick-
her that link.
I think Nick has to do
I
it.
think Nick does that.
I'll get. with
I
you
haven't
after
seen it either, so
Who said that?
Todd.
Todd,
send that to Todd and to Kitty and Tim.
And Tim.
I don't recall seeing it. I may have overlooked it. I get a million emails, but I don't.
No, I
I-
think that there was a group, there was a committee together and,
Yeah, you all
it's-
had to,
up pretty close, so you all can have some input. So send them to those, Nick. Anybody else?
just real quick, I'm
It's a,
sorry.
it's a Google Docs document.
Yeah, Nick's got it. He's gonna take care of it, Eddie.
Yeah.
Tim's got a question.
This is for Natalia.
This is for Natalia.
What do I need to do to request a newer sign for a speed limit sign on 460 right in front of Canewood? The 55-mile-an-hour sign it's real faded and you can't really see it.
Okay, yeah, we can replace that. 460 in front of Canewood.
Yes, right there. I think it's right in front of Payne's Depot and 460.
Okay.
Is that something Austin would do?
Hang on a minute.
Natalia, I was gonna tell them too, at the big intersection at 460 and what is that road?
62?
Payne's Depot.
No. Past my house, up by Rural King. There was an accident that took out the street signs.
Yes, I told Austin about that last week.
Okay,
Okay. Austin knows about it, Natalia. Some of the
Okay.
signs were taken out at the bypass at Rural King. But Brendan reported it to Austin. You might can follow up on that.
Paris
Okay.
Pike at the intersection by Wendy's.
Paris Pike.
Yeah, Paris Pike and 460 bypass. Has
Okay.
anybody got anything else they want to bring forth? If not, our next meeting date and time is October 19th, 2020 at 4:30. Nobody has anything else. This meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for showing up.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, Connie.
You're welcome. Talk to you later,
Appreciate
Eddie.
Appreciate you bailing me out, Connie.
Oh, you're welcome. See you. That's what we do. Bye, everybody. Thank
Bye.
you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.